Paige O'Neill is with us. She's working for Sitecore, and she was taking part of a big panel today talking about the new definition of the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer. So what is the new definition of the CMO?
Well, we decided that the role of the CMO is growing and changing very rapidly right now, and there is no one definition. Organizations have many different needs for chief marketing officers and the skill set. They've got digital transformation that's happening in many businesses. The CMO is expected to look after the customer experience. We're, of course, expected to keep looking after the brand and demand generation. So it's a very complicated role.
So what's really changing for the CMO? What skills does he have to have? And
I think that the skill set of the CMO has completely changed in the last 10 years. We've been on a trend to have to understand data a lot more and to be much more technology savvy. And I think in the past, the CMO was really expected to look after what was the message of the company, what was the brand. And of course, we were expected to drive demand, but as companies have increasingly looked for the chief marketing officer to drive things like customer experience, the CMO was expected to be on the front lines of making very complicated technology purchases. And these are skill sets that CMOs didn't really have even 5 years ago. And so that's one big thing that's changing.
So do you think that the new generation of CMO is well prepared for this new task?
It's a good question. I think that we know as CMOs that things are changing rapidly, and I think we also are increasingly understanding that it's really up to us to drive customer experience in organizations. And so in order to do that effectively, I think there's a widespread understanding amongst the CMOs that I talk to that we have to be thinking about our skill set as ever-changing, ever-expanding. Are we prepared? I hope so, but I think that we have a lot of work to do.
So what is your tip for our audience? If you have to deal with the CMO of the old generation, let's call it CMO 1.0. How can you deal with it? How can you speak to him? How can you help him?
I might be a CMO of the old generation. I think maybe I'm somewhere in between because I'm a technology CMO. Even though I have been a CMO for quite some time, I probably have evolved because of being so up close with technology in my career all the time. And so I would say that we need to understand as CMOs that it's okay not to know everything. And that's why we have teams that are working for us who are coming into the organization. We've got the millennial generation coming in. They understand technology. We've got a whole new generation coming in after the millennials that are called the digital natives. They grew up with technology. And so I think the CMO has to ask for help, ask questions, be open to learning, and also be open into saying, I don't know, I need to understand more about that and learn about that.
And do you think the CMO is quite there, or are there a lot of CMOs still stick to the old way?
Well, it's a good question because I think it can be difficult for a lot of C-level executives, not just the CMO, but any C-level, to say, I don't know. I think there is a fear that if you say, I don't know, you're going to be perceived as weak. But I don't think that's true. I think that as we're evolving and learning about technology, understanding more about what the customer wants, we've got more data and technology tools at our disposal than ever before. So we've got so much opportunity to listen and learn and then be able to share those new learnings with the organization. And I think there's power in that.
Let's see what's coming up. Thank you for coming to us, and have fun on the Dmexco. I hope you enjoyed.
I'm very much enjoying it. It's my first time here. It's just a fantastic show. I'm walking around and I'm going to visit some booths next. So thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Thank you.